Sup nerds, I'm Wes from Neverboard Gaming, and this is how to play District D Spleen Battle by Red Giant Balloon. To set up the game, start by removing the spleens, explosives, and the denture card from the main deck. You're going to shuffle the main deck up and deal out sets of 4 cards depending on the number of players. So one pile of 4 cards per player. You're going to remove one of the cards from these draw piles and replace it with the denture card. Now shuffle these piles together and deal out 4 cards to each player. This setup ensures that one of the players is going to start with the denture card. Now you're going to take the explosive and spleen cards and shuffle them back into the main deck. Once your deck is sufficiently shuffled, you're going to place it on the sacrificial pit. This is now your draw deck. The last thing you do before you start playing is give each player one of these chicken breakfast or CB tokens. You can't win the game until you've gotten rid of your chicken breakfast. There are 3 phases to your turn: your draw step, your play card step, and your pass turn step. So for your draw step, you must draw 2 cards at the start of your turn. For your play card step, you'll play as many or as few cards from your hand as you want. You don't even have to play any. We'll go more into what the cards do in a little bit. Before you end your turn, you're going to pick 1 card and pass it to the previous player. This signifies the end of your turn and you can't do anything else. Except for on your first turn. At the end of your first turn, you're going to go ahead and eat your chicken breakfast and discard this token. You are now eligible to win the game. There are 2 ways that the game ends and you can win. The first one being having a spleen and a denture in your hand at the same time. Whenever this happens, you instantly declare that you are the winner. If you win this way, you're going to give the denture card to the player of your choice and then shuffle the spleen card and the rest of your hand back into the draw deck. The game continues until all but 1 player have won this way. The only other way for the game to end is if a player draws the last card. They are then sacrificed to the sacrificial pit and all the other players win the game. Now let's take a look at what all these different cards can do. First, we have the spleen. This is the card everyone's after. It's what you need to win. All the spleen cards are going to start in the main deck. The dentures. This card is always going to be in someone's hand, so you're never going to discard it. You always have to just give it back and forth. If at any point you discard your hand, the spleen goes to another player. You have to have the dentures and a spleen to win the game. Got teeth. You play this card during your turn and ask another player, got teeth? If they have the dentures, they have to give them to you. Search. This just lets you draw 2 cards during your turn. That's additional to the 2 cards that you have to draw at the start of your turn. Cleanse. So you pick a player and cleanse them, and they have to shuffle all of their spleen cards back into the draw pile. Rot. You choose a player and they have to discard 2 cards of their choice. Skip. Immediately skip the next player's turn. If it's reflected, it immediately ends your turn. We're going to go over reflect in just a minute. Cloak. You're protected until your next turn. People can't play got teeth, skip, rot, or any of those cards on you because you are essentially invisible until your turn starts again. Duplicate. So this card becomes whatever the last card you played. So if it was you played a rot, you make someone discard 2 more cards, or you can pick someone new. You can got teeth 2 different people. You can draw 4 cards instead of 2. Really powerful card. Reverse. So this changes the turn order in the game. So if the player to your left was going to go next, then the player to your right goes next. This makes it a little bit difficult when you end your turn by passing a card to the previous player. If you reverse the turn order, you would then give it to the opposite player. So if turn order was going left, I would be giving my card to the person to my right. If I played reverse, turn order would go right, so I'd end my turn by giving the card to the player to the left. Hopefully that made sense to you guys. Hold it. Stop any targeted action played against you, including hold it itself. So basically it's a no card. So if they play anything, you can say nope. Even if they play a hold it card, you can hold it there, hold it, and it just goes back and forth. Reflect, we mentioned this earlier, reverses any targeted action. So unlike a hold it card, it doesn't stop the action, it actually reflects that action back onto the player who played the card. These can reflect back and forth. Shield. So if you explode, you discard this card with the explosive card as well. And I think I need to explain the explosive card first. So if at any point you have the explosives and dentures in your hand at the same time during your turn, you will explode and you have to return your hand to the draw pile, shuffle and draw 2 cards, and continue your turn. So the only difference is if you have the dentures, you pick a player to give the dentures to, shuffle the rest of your cards back into the draw pile, and then draw 2 cards and basically take another turn. This can stop you from winning the game. If you have an explosives, a denture, and a spleen card, you explode before you win. However, if you have a shield, all you do is discard these 2 cards and then continue your turn. So if you have the spleen or the dentures, you win. If you don't, you can just continue without having to discard your entire hand. And the last action card is swap. So you pick a player and you just trade hands with them. So there are 5 cards in the deck that don't have an action written on them. The eyeball, the baby zombie, the hand, the zombie egg, and the brain. So by themselves, these cards don't do anything. They just take up space, and they're really good to pass to the player behind you because who wants to give action cards to another player? However, if you can collect a few of these cards, they can do a few special things. You can discard 2 of any of these to take a card from another player. Now, you get to choose what card you take, but you don't get to look at their hand. If you get 3 different of these miscellaneous cards, so let's say a hand, the baby zombie, and an eyeball, you can use these to break through someone's cloak. So let's say you know they have the denture card because it was just passed to them, and you have a spleen, but they have a cloak down. So you can play 3 different miscellaneous cards against them, their cloak goes away, and then you can play like a got teeth on them to get those dentures and win the game. Alright, and that's District D Spleen Battle. If you guys have any questions on how to play, you can go ahead and put them in the comment box down below, or go ahead and watch our full playthrough on the eye up here. Hopefully that'll answer any questions. Depending on when you watch this, I'll have either the Kickstarter link or a purchase link down below. And hey, while you're down there, don't forget to subscribe so you'll never be bored. District D Spleen Battle by Red Potato Games. Red Potato Games!